Hi, my name's Jean.Conacher and I'm a member of the German section of the School of Modern Languages and Applied Linguistics. This video is particularly designed for people who are interested in doing German on the Bachelor of Education in Languages. So first of all, I'd like to say herzlich willkommen. You're very welcome to the German section, to this video, and I hope over the next few minutes to tell you a little bit more about what you would be doing if you decide to do German. So when we talk about German studies, what we are really looking at is the German, in particular, is the German-speaking countries of Europe. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And you'll certainly come across different aspects of these three countries across nearly every module that you do with us. Why is it important to learn German? Well, there are more than 120 million people in Austria, Germany, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Switzerland, bits of Belgium, northern Italy, eastern France, who speak German. And it's a really major world language. It's also a key language in the European Union, and even more so since the expansion of the EU eastwards. And so it's an important language within the new economies of Central and Eastern Europe. So learning German improves your chances of success in today's job market. For teachers, there are many opportunities for teaching, to become a teacher of German. There are loads of opportunities, and it's certainly a language that you should be able to sell easily to your own students in due course. It's, however, also a very important cultural language. It's spoken and written by a host of men and women who have influenced thinking, ideas and so on in Europe and beyond. And I've just listed out a few of them there. There may be some names that you know, others that you might find out about, or you might want to look up and see, whether they're artists, scientists, painters, musicians, and so on. So it's a really important cultural language. And I've just given you some pictures here of various people. Some of them you might know better than others, and you'll certainly come across very many of these in the course of your studies with us. But I think there are very many other reasons for learning German. Any language opens up new worlds to you, gives you new perspectives, helps you get inside a culture to better understand it. And German's no exception. And there are some fantastic places to go to in the German-speaking world that you will really enjoy. Typically Berlin, but many other places as well. What's really good about it is that you're going not as just a passing tourist, but as somebody who is beginning to understand the culture and can find out more about that culture by speaking to people in their own language. The Teaching Council requires you to spend some of the time in the target culture, but you should really maximise your time there doing summer schools, work opportunities and so on to expand your knowledge of the language and culture. This will help you enjoy your studies more, the more engaged you become with the language and the culture. But it will also make you a better teacher in the long run, because you'll have stories to tell your own students about your time there. And from my own experience, I know that that's what really interests students when they really find out what it's really like to be in a country, to be using another language. You could think too about spending time in Austria, whether it's in Vienna or whatever, or perhaps in Switzerland. And there are great opportunities in both those countries as well. Whatever your motivation, remember that you'll also have lots of opportunities to meet native speakers of German here in UL. So sometimes it's a visiting Erasmus students and so on. And you can also take the opportunity to visit, if you like, German-speaking countries online. And we'll be asking you to do that right from day one, and be giving you ideas as to what you might do. And I think that all helps. It all helps in terms of if you're going to spend a summer in Germany or something, doing a language course, that you actually find ways of discovering which part of the country you might like to go to. If you're just starting with German, then I think it's useful to maybe first of all break down one of the stereotypes, which is that German's a difficult language. It's not. It's maybe a bit difficult to start with sometimes, but it becomes much one of these languages that becomes much easier the more you do it. Now, one of the easiest things about German is that if you've got strong English or you're an English native speaker, then German can be easy from the vocabulary point of view. So many words look really familiar, and that can help initially to give you some kind of sense of what's going on. It's also so much easier to read and pronounce than English. So just to take that little example there, although I thought my sentence through, that's impossible in German. Okay, the identical letter clusters, whether it's consonant clusters or vowel clusters, we always pronounce the same way. So if you see a word written down, you can confidently say to somebody, what does this word mean? And read it out, and they will understand you, as long as you know the rules. Okay, so that makes life much easier for you. And German's also very systematic. So you learn the rules and it will work for you as a language. And that's why sometimes at the beginning it can seem a little challenging because there seem to be so many things to think about. The more you get into that system, the more you understand it and the more you use it, the easier German will become. Which German module should you register for? Well, if you're a total beginner, you've never done any German before, then the module for you is GE 4211. If you've got Leaving Cert German and you've preferably got an H3 or higher, then GE 4241 is the one for you, the one that we call the Advanced German module. If you're somewhere in between, you've maybe done Junior Cert or you didn't get your H3, then speak to me, and I've given you my contact details there with my email address. Just get in touch. And what we often do is we put people for the first few weeks into 4241, and then we drop you down into the beginners once the beginners have had a chance to get going. What you cannot do is yourself register for the beginners module and go straight into that. We'll just move you. So there's no point in doing that. The beginners module really is for complete beginners. I always say to people, it's for people who don't know that the German for hello is hallo. Okay, so if that's you, if that's a revelation to you, then that might be the module for you. Otherwise, you're probably looking at GE 4241. What you do in the different modules, well, in beginner's German, Ab initio German, you have 6 hours. You have a general lecture on Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. And then you have a couple of hours of text work, an hour of grammar, an hour of creative expression, which focuses on particularly on writing, and a language practice hour, which focuses on your speaking German and pronunciation. And your assessment is a mixture of continuous assessment and an end-of-term exam. If you're doing GE 4241, you do the general lecture as well on Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. That's taught through English. And then you have another 3 hours, 2 hours text work and grammar, and an hour of creative expression, including literature. And this module, and both modules, in fact, the language modules are taught as much as possible through German. So that increases your input in the modules. Assessment, again, continuous assessment and end of term exam. In addition to that, you're going to be doing German literature and culture modules throughout. I've listed out modules that you will be doing, and you'll start with in first semester with Introduction to German Literature. You'll go from doing across your 4 years, you'll go from doing German classics to the latest in pop culture, and we'll give you ideas as to what reading you might do to improve your German or to find out more about something. But you should feel free also to go and explore, look on the internet, find interesting people to read, interesting films to watch, and music to listen to, and so on. We'll give you hints, but you know, it's also for you to find out more. And when we talk about culture, literature, and film, we move well beyond just literature. We look at architecture, we look at art, we might look at music, cinema, and we look at what we can find out about the cultures that you're studying through the lens of those different forms of art, but also how does that vary? Maybe how does German film vary from Irish film or French film and so on. So it's for you to make the connections, but also to see the differences. But it's a really good way of seeing inside a culture. What types of themes interest people? How do they tackle them? How is it different? How is their approach different maybe from the approach that we might take here in Ireland, or I might take in Scotland, for example? You'll be able to tell from my accent that I didn't start life in Ireland. The module for German literature, as I say, is 4621, 3 hours a week. And that's taken by both people who are doing beginners and advanced German. So we'll start through English, but we'll try and build in an increasing amount of German through the semester and onwards. So looking at highlights of German literature from the very beginning up to about 1900 in this module, and looking at literature as well. And one of the exciting things is that you'll also be working with our theatre studies intern. As somebody who's studying theatre studies in Germany, who comes to us for the year, and she'll be working with you, studying and preparing a German language play. And you'll find out more about that in class, but it's great fun. The students last year really enjoyed it. I think it was probably the highlight of their year in German. So I would really recommend, if you're to get involved in that aspect of it. Key message maybe is that regular participation in language classes is the key to success. The more you're involved, the more you practice, the better you will become. The first stopping point is probably the general lecture for all the humanities and education students will be held in your first week by me. I look forward to seeing you there. You'll find it on your timetable, and you can ask questions there, and you find out more. I'll give you a bit more information about different things to do for German studies and so on. At this point, all I want to do is to wish you lots of success in your studies, and that you really enjoy it, whether you decide to do German or you decide to do a different language. If you have any general queries about German, please do feel free to contact me. I'm the subject leader for German this year. But I've also given you the contacts for the different first year modules with their email addresses, and you should really feel free to contact any of them if you wish to do so. So I do wish you all the very best, and I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible when you do your begin German with us at UL.